Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Some of the most meaningful jewelry you own isn't new. It's inherited. A ring from a grandmother, a necklace full of memories, but no longer your style. Duke's Jewelers reimagines family heirlooms into custom pieces you'll actually wear and love. Working one-on-one, Duke's designers honor the original story while creating something fresh and modern. Don't let meaningful jewelry sit unused. Let it live on beautifully. Visit Duke's Jewelers in Springville or online at dukesjewelers.com, where old stories become new treasures.
The exclusive home of the Utah Mammoth is on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Marino to the front, they score! It's tapped in by Alexander Kerfoot, and the Mammoth are off and running here in L.A. Floating one into Cooley. He tries to dance in, and he scores! What a goal from Logan Cooley, and all of Hollywood can only stop and stare. Kerfoot drags, holding up traffic. Kerfoot shoots, and they score! Kerfoot's got a pair tonight, and it's 4-1.
You're locked into JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Curie here. JJ's out of town this week, and that means Stevenson Sylvester, former Pittsburgh Steeler, former Utah Ute. I couldn't tell you were a Ute by what you were wearing today. All red, all this time. Plus the sunglasses in a windowless studio, no problem. Sly's got you covered. We do have a guest we got to get to. You know why? Because he's on the road with the Mammoth, as he is wont to do. He is the radio play-by-play voice of the Utah Mammoth. He's Mike Folta. Mike, what's going on, man?
Oh, Alex, Sly, I'm good, guys. I did not even bring sunglasses, Sly, on this trip because we are here in the gloomy Pacific Northwest, Seattle, Vancouver, where the sun never shines until today. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Seattle, and we've got some Mammoth hockey later tonight.
Corey Hart would definitely frown at you.
Oh, well, listen, yeah, you gotta wear your sunglasses in the old hotel room. Mike, hey, my old stop. This is my place of growing up where you're at right now in Seattle. I'll actually be up there this weekend, so I'll miss.
How big of a name was Sean Kemp, by the way?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so. Help me. Let's get the Sonics back into Key Arena as quick as possible. I know it's not called Key Arena anymore, but like I walked. So my high school graduation, you walk at Key Arena, like so you're there, and you have all these banners up, you know. And Sean Kemp, when it comes to people who could throw down and posterize people, he was one of the best. Underrated. The guy flew. Dominique was like this. Mike, of course, had it, but it was like. They had this crazy, like, last-second power, just like it felt like it rocked the entire place. And so, yeah, you think about your GPs and your.
There's a mural we drove by just a little bit ago where it's on the side of Sean Kemp's cannabis store. Funny enough, and I'm like, how Seattle can you possibly?
I know.
And but it's this mural of Sean Kemp dunking, and prominently featured is Michael Jordan with like his mouth agape. Right. Like it's a mural of Sean Kemp, but like one of the first things you see after you see like the Seattle green and yellow is Michael Jordan, like his jaw on the floor. So it was kind of, I was like, isn't that a Bulls jersey? Oh, he's just in awe of Sean Kemp.
It is. He was phenomenal. He was tall too. So he had bounce and he was long. He was phenomenal. Anyway,
definitely on the Rushmore.
I'm excited. Normally I wouldn't go this long talking about it because there was no chance they were coming back. But I think that now because the vote is ongoing, expansion is almost like you just have to have $7 billion, Mike, to get into the NBA.
That's all.
As an expansion these days. Yeah. Yeah, it is. But that's all it takes. And I think Seattle has missed their Sonics, so hopefully they bring them back. Hey, you guys are up there. Obviously, the Kraken and the Mammoth tonight, a big one. I was texting a friend last night because I watched that Canucks-Avs game wire to wire last night, 8-6. It was phenomenal. It was just back and forth. And I text my buddy, I go, of course, Vancouver's putting some stuff together right now, right before the Mammoth come to town. Like this time of year, I don't care who you are. If you made some changes at the trade deadline and you're getting your guys on the ice, you want to get them all better. Everybody wants to beat everybody right now. There's nobody's taking a back seat, and that's why it scares the heck out of me.
Yeah, we see this every year, and it's not just hockey. I mean, it happens in other sports too, but especially in hockey. You get these teams that are unshackled from expectations, unshackled from the hope of playoffs even. And even the teams at the bottom of the barrel will play a loose and free game, and they'll dust up teams that are actually playing for something. And I was talking with Bear head coach Andre Tourigny about this maybe last week, and he hit the rewind button all the way back to, I think it was 2022 in Arizona, when the Coyotes were at the bottom of the league. I mean, like dead bottom of the league. And they're playing Nashville and Dallas in the last two games of the season. These are two teams that are scratching and clawing, trying to get every point they can for seeding. They were literally battling with each other for seeding in the playoffs. They had to win. And what do you know? The lowly Coyotes beat them twice. And the Coyotes kind of screwed themselves out of the first overall pick. Now, it ended up being okay because they take Logan Cooley, third overall that year. They probably would have taken him first overall that year anyway. But that was just an example from Bear's memory of, like this time of year, even the worst teams in the league can still win games against the teams that are playing for something.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's never over. There's other teams that are like, if we're tanking, we're full tanking. We know it's over. We're not even going to give it a chance. But that's a different case with hockey, especially these mentality of guys, especially guys that are losing teeth every night. They're just like, no nights off. No nights off.
No, for sure.
But you were in the building for that Crypto.com Arena LA Kings game the other week. It's 4 days it's been off. Of course, there's a lot to take from that. But how good did the boys look? And as for getting ready for tonight, how is that going to transition?
The boys look really good, and they look good in front of Will Ferrell too. Sly, he was allegedly in the building.
He's a big Kings guy. He might is he minority owner or something, or is he just is?
I think he just has glass seats.
Awesome.
And so we were getting text that Will Ferrell was right next to our video staff, but no, they looked really good. And to be honest, the Kings did not look good Saturday night, but the Mammoth looked really good. And head coach Andre Tourigny and defenseman Nate Schmidt, they called it a blueprint game. And so you score 6 goals, you think, okay, the blueprint is offensively. Nope, they were talking about the way the Mammoth played in the defensive zone against the likes of superstars like Artemi Panarin and Anze Kopitar and some really good players that the Mammoth just totally shut down the other night in LA. Now, the problem, or what has been the problem, is that Utah has struggled a little bit coming off of big breaks. Mammoth are 0-3 this year. On 4 or more days of rest, coming off Christmas break, after the Olympics, things like that. So it'll be some work to do. There'll be some work to do to kind of get back into rhythm tonight against a Kraken team that is still holding on to hope. It's a slim hope, but they have a puncher's chance in what has been a turtle race in the Western Conference wildcard pursuit.
Yeah, and the Pacific Division especially is just a mishmash of who wants to win this week, and it's kind of interesting to watch all those back and forth with all those teams. Obviously, holding on to the wild card one for the Mammoth is the best shot for them to win some games in that first round, and possibly, although the Avs showed if you score 8 goals against them, you should be all right. So I was watching that game, and I'm watching all these teams, and you just see the intensity starts to pick up. The big names show up. How big of a deal will it be to get those first and second lines and those big names involved early? Because when those guys are scoring, it seems like it fires everybody else up too.
Yeah, it does. And our good friend Adrian Denny, who does our pregame, postgame intermission on the radio, he has this stat that he likes, and it's a team's record when this guy scores a goal. And for the Mammoth, it's like 17-1-0 or something like that when Clayton Keller scores a goal. And look, guys, I went to the Harvard of the Midwest, an accredited land-grant university. I took a lot of stats classes, and I'm trying to tell Adrian, nobody on the team has a losing record when they score. Scoring goals helps your team win.
Of course.
Of course you have a winning record when you score. It helps you win. Nobody has a losing record. But it is, in Adrian's defense, it is hard to ignore the correlation between the team success and the individual success of guys like Keller and Schmaltz, especially those two. When those two have gone through downturns, like they did a little bit in November, and like they did even a little bit a few weeks ago, the team struggled as well. Now, this is, with the exception of the injury to Barrett Hayden, this is a pretty healthy Mammoth group. We saw Alexander Kerfoot chip in a couple goals on Saturday. And so I think you're seeing that depth scoring coming through more and more. But there is a pretty good correlation between the success of the big dogs and the team's wins and loss record.
Yeah, so what are you expecting from the Kraken tonight? We were talking about the end of the season and that race and how everybody's really neck and neck and fighting for these wild card positions and getting in. The Kraken with 9 games left, they're coming off of the 2 losses. Are you expecting them to be hyped and kind of making this happen? Of course, it's a home game for them, but what are you expecting out of the Kraken tonight?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the home aspect, Sly, because they had just been on a 6-game road trip, and it was like a 2-week trip too. So they're really excited to be back home. And look, it's a Kraken team that really, ever since they entered the league in 2021, they just haven't had that star power. They haven't had a Logan Cooley or a Dylan Gunther or somebody electric offensively. They've been missing that, so they've had to get it done by committee. And that can be hard to defend at times because there's not as many guys up front that you're circling and saying, we have to stop this guy. But it makes it harder for them to get going offensively. And we've seen that this year. They're the second worst team in the league since the Olympic break. Like they've really struggled the last couple months. Excuse me. But like I said, they're coming home after an extended break. They've gotten relatively decent goaltending for most of the year. And what's unique about Seattle is they have these defensemen, Brandon Montour, Vince Dunn, who are very active. So those guys can break down plays, break you down in the defensive zone, and they can make it easy for you to lose coverage. So the Mammoth have to be really good about keeping their wingers high and above those defensemen that like to wander, because that's how Seattle creates a lot of problems.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace.
Last year, I went through many different life changes. I needed to take a pause and examine how I was feeling in the inside to better show up for the ones who need me to be my best version of myself.
When you're navigating life's changes, Talkspace can help. Talkspace is the #1 rated online therapy, bringing you professional support from licensed therapists and psychiatry providers that you can access anytime, anywhere.
Living a busy life, navigating a long-distance relationship, becoming a first-step father, Talkspace made all of those journeys possible. I could speak with my therapist in the office. I could speak with my therapist in the comfort of my home. I was never alone.
Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance, no problem. Now get $80 off your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
You have these teams that are just, a couple of points separate them in the Pacific, and in the wild card especially. The Mammoth have a 4-point lead with the same amount of games that they've played as the Los Angeles Kings. You feel all right about that, but when Macklin Celebrini brought the Sharks back last night, I was like, okay, I didn't want to have that added. Another team with 77 points. The Preds have 77. The Kings have 78. And everybody's just looking at Utah and trying to pick them off.
Right.
Of those teams, which one's the most likely? You've seen all these teams all year. Which one's the most likely that you look at and you're like, I'm the most scared of that team right now?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, Connor McDavid called the Pacific Division a pillow fight for a reason. Like none of these teams can get out of their own way, and that includes guys, the teams that are the top 3 in the Pacific, not just the wild card teams. That's a great question though, Alex, because I don't look at any of these teams as being better than the Utah Mammoth. I tell you what though, a few teams below the cut line sit the Winnipeg Jets at 76 points.
I know.
They are 2 teams, or they are 2 points out of the second wild card spot. Would be pretty hard for them to catch the Mammoth. They're 6 points back of Utah. It'd be hard for any of these teams to catch the Mammoth, but especially Winnipeg. But I tell you what, the Winnipeg Jets have the best goalie in the world, Connor Hellebuck. Won a gold medal with Team USA earlier this season, stealing the show against Team Canada in one of the best goaltending performances we've seen in recent memory. They're starting to figure it out a little bit. They've kind of been up and down, but they have points in 8 of their last 10. They've won 6 of their last 10. And if none of these other teams can figure it out, which has been the status quo throughout the year, like the Winnipeg Jets, who have won 2 in a row now, like they could easily be in that second wild card spot and pushing Utah. I don't think they would catch Utah, but pushing Utah and making the Mammoth sweat a little bit at the end of the year. So that's a team that you can't write off. Winnipeg, they were the best team in the regular season last year, guys.
Right.
And they went from best team in the regular season to a potential lottery team this year. And I don't think they're as bad as their record says they are. So that's a team I look at. Realistically, though, if you're just looking at the math, I mean, LA has the best chance simply because they're closest. I don't trust San Jose any further than I can throw them. Nashville is all these teams were like trading away players at the deadline, right? It's a very confusing year. So it would be hard for the Mammoth to give up that number 1 spot, but I say that really all it takes is one bad week and all of a sudden you're right back in that pillow fight. Is there a version of,
I think that NHL teams get it's such a close matchup. I think people are afraid of the Avalanche because that's a rare exception to feeling like, okay, that team's going to run away with it. But there's no version of that because you have, I think it was the Jets a couple of years ago had, the best, they're one of the best teams and then they get upset in the first round. Like it doesn't really matter once the playoffs start. But as you look at it, if in the Pacific Division, is it just the number 1 team out of the Pacific who faces the wild card one? And if that's the case between the Ducks and the Oilers, which one do you want?
Yeah, it's so the first 2 rounds, it goes by the divisional seeding, and then actually the rules change once you get to the conference finals where home ice could flip based on who was better in the regular season. But the Mammoth, if they stay in wild card 1, they would play through the Pacific Division. They would be in that pod, basically, with those other 3 teams, which is right now Anaheim, Edmonton, and Vegas. We got some analytics from our friends over at SportLogic a couple days ago that told us that the Mammoth would be favored analytically. I don't know what the betting markets would say, but they would be favored analytically over Anaheim and Vegas, and it'd be close to 50-50 with Edmonton. It'd be close to 50-50 with all 3 of those teams, but pretty cool for Utah to be potentially favored in a playoff matchup. Speaking of betting, which I know you can't do in the state of Utah, but this was in some game notes that I saw. You actually can't even place a wager on the Mammoth to win that top wild card spot anymore. That's how confident the books are that Utah will be in that top wild card spot. Like you can't even
I love it, but I hate it. I love it, but I hate it. It's all like we've seen meltdowns before across every sport. I don't care what sport it is. I've watched everybody blow it, and there are some people right now in the state of Utah that just feel like Utah teams can't have nice things, and I think the Mammoth are like, it's a hope that we have right now that we haven't had for a minute, and that for me is the part where I'm like, just hang on there, and let's say maybe they get to a second series, and then who knows what happens after that. Maybe that's poor form, Mike, to be looking that forward, but I'll look at it like I'm a glass half full guy. That's what we're talking about.
As fans, we're allowed to. And look, the Anaheim Ducks are an extremely young team that the Mammoth have beaten as much as they've lost to. You take that matchup. You're fine with that. You feel like you can win that matchup. The Edmonton Oilers have been a mess goaltending-wise. They are a little bit worn down, all the hockey they've played the last few years. Sure, they have the best player in the world, maybe the two best players in the world, but they haven't been very good defensively or goaltending-wise. And the Vegas Golden Knights just fired their coach like 2 sleeps ago. So there are flaws to each of those 3 Pacific Division teams that you could something like that.
Somebody's
I don't take a lot of naps, Sly. I don't know about you and that.
Well, I'm glad we talked about it because this is exactly where I wanted to go. I mean, let's go back to Vegas here. We're at Caesars, right? You just cashed in some chips. Is the Mammoth going to host a playoff game this year? In your opinion, is the Mammoth going to have one at Delta Center this year?
Oh yeah, I don't even think that's a hot take. I think for us to miss the playoffs would take. I mean, I don't even want to speak what that would take into existence. Like we are in a really good spot right now.
Good.
We're planning, like on the radio side, like we're planning for playoff hockey. Hey, what are our shows going to look like in the playoffs and stuff like that?
Oh, Sly just punched the purchase button after you said that.
I'm telling you, that's what a lot of Utah Mammoth fans are talking about. We're talking about like Winnipeg Jets or Dark Horse.
Give me those tickets.
We've seen bad weeks, this and that. There's like, can we punch our ticket or what? Can I go to the store right after the show here and get me a new Mammoth jersey? Like, what's going to happen here?
Man. Hey, hurt people. Like, believe. It's okay. This isn't Toronto. This isn't Edmonton. This isn't one of those like really negative Canadian markets that thinks the sky is falling all the time. This is Utah. This is the land of opportunity. The Mammoth are here and they're dancing, baby.
This is life elevated here, folks.
So
life elevated. That's right.
You've got yourself a couple of big ones right in the Pacific Northwest coming up here tonight. Seattle Kraken. On Saturday, you're going to get the trip up to Vancouver, one of my favorite places on the planet. Also to be. These are awesome places. I'm jealous that you're up there, although I'll be in Seattle on this weekend as well, visiting some family. So we'll just miss each other, but I'll be watching hockey the whole time. Mike Folta, radio play-by-play of the Mammoth. Thanks, Mike. We appreciate it, man.
Thanks, guys. Tuss up.
There you go.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did you have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.